This is Sudan, a former British-Egyptian colony that has been suffering from various conflicts since gaining independence in 1956.
Premier El-Azari thanks Britain and Egypt for giving his country freedom to work out its own destiny.
The Institute for Security Studies calls Sudan a coup laboratory. It has had 15 coup attempts, 5 of them successful, more than any other country in the so-called coup belt, modern geopolitical concept which describes African countries with a high prevalence of coups. The current conflict originates from a brigadier general in the Sudanese Army who led a group of officers in a military coup. Omar Al-Bashir overthrew his predecessor in 1989 and started to tighten the control over the country to prevent possible rebellions against him in the future. In the early 2000s, Omar faced 2 big conflicts. The first one was the ongoing Second Sudanese War, where South Sudan was fighting for independence. To suppress the civil war, Omar utilized the Sudanese Armed Forces, or SAF. The second conflict took place in the west, in the Darfur region. Nearly the size of France, this region has been neglected for many years by the government, so armed groups aimed to overthrow Bashir's government. Omar al-Bashir decided to support the group of local Arab tribes, Janjaweed, to suppress the rebels. Later in 2013, this group was rebranded as Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, and became Omar's private army. Throughout the next 20 years, these 2 forces helped Bashir to stay in power and in return, became more and more financially independent. RSF controlled gold mines in Darfur and sent troops to different countries for money. SAF produced weapons and owned telecommunications, whereas civilians struggled to satisfy basic needs. In 2018, Bashir announced a new budget which allocated over 60% to the security sector, including RSF and SAF. This led to the biggest revolution in Sudan's history. Protests were appearing all around the country and were so massive that even the 2 most loyal forces decided to join them. On the 11th of April in 2019, RSF leader Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, or Hemedti, and SAF commander Abdul Fattah al-Burhan collaborated and removed Bashir from his office. After that, with the support from the global community, Hemedti and Burhan started a process of power transition to a democratic council. However, just as in any democratic country, it was agreed that there is no place for private militarized groups, so RSF should have become a part of SAF. That's where Hemedti decided to suspend the negotiations, and on 15th of April 2023, 2 former partners started a brand new civil war. This is a map of the front line as of March 2024. RSF controls most of the Darfur region and the capital of Sudan, where intense battles are ongoing right now. Hemedti uses the gold mines to buy fuel and weapons from Libya and the United Arab Emirates, and even armed forces such as Wagner Group from Russia. Burhan, in turn, gets support from Egypt, Iran, and Ukrainian forces. What started as a wish of one man to stay in power for as long as possible evolved into a huge geopolitical disruption. Some may find it useful for establishing new alliances in the region and for gaining access to resources. Others, however, have had to leave their homes or sacrifice their lives for the future of their country.